This is NTV.
Good evening. Glad that you could join us. My name is Zana Bondati, and over the next 1 hour, we're going to be talking about climate smart agriculture and how women are involved in this space. Not only involved, but how women are making money through climate smart agriculture. Now, to have this conversation, we've got lovely ladies joining us from West Pokot County, as well as an expert on climate smart agriculture. And you can share your thoughts or comments or your questions on climate smart agriculture, and also your participation, particularly if you're a woman. And I'd like to introduce them before I tell you what else we'll be talking about. Right next to me is Dr. Barack Okoba. Barack is a climate smart agriculture expert with the FAO office in Kenya, and he has lots of years of experience in that area. He'll be telling us a little bit more about that. And next to Dr. Okoba, we have Mercy Tomko, who's the program manager of the Women Enterprise, Women Economic Empowerment through Climate Smart Agriculture program, which is based in West Pokot County. And next to her, we have Leah Okore, who's the country director, Kenya country director of Village Enterprise. Welcome, ladies. And last but not least, we have Priscilla Chobet from West Pokot County government. She is the chief finance officer, joining us from West Pokot to tell us about why we have these lovely ladies from West Pokot. Is because what we're going to be talking about over the next hour particularly touches on West Pokot County, and they'll be telling us about why particularly West Pokot County. But before we get into those details, take a look at this video.
Kwa jamii yetu ya Pokot hairuhusiwi mama ongee mbele ya watu. Msichana hata ifai aende shule. Msichana ni mali ya nini, ya boma.
Wakati ya kwanza kazi ya mama ilikuwa ni jikoni peke yake.
Kitambo watu wajakuwa kuja kutufunza, maisha yetu ilikuwa haijafika mahali. Nilikuwa sijajua vile nalisha hata ng'ombe, hata nini, kuku, hata watoto kwenda shule ni ngumu.
Huku kwetu tuko na shida ya maji, na kwa sababu anga pia imebadilika, ikafanya watu kutoendelea kulima. Watu wanaongojea maji, na maji especially huku inaweza kuja mara 2 kwa mwaka ama mara 1. Kikubwa ile wizi sasa ilituletea ni kwamba ilituweka katika kikundi na tukapata mafunzo. Vile tulipata mafunzo, ikawa kwamba kumbe tunaweza saidiana kwa hii kazi. Mwingine hata anaweza kuwa anaenda mtoni kutoa maji, mwingine anabadilisha maji huku shamba, na watu wakapata kuelewana kwa nyumba.
Our extension officers walikuja kwetu na wakatufunza jinsi ya kulima. Wanatuambia tuchukue ile hybrid yenye inakabiliana na mabadiliko ya hali ya anga, na mvua saa zingine ikipotea tunafanya maji ya sprinkler.
Tukapelekwa kwa tua Kitepo, tukafunzwa kwa huko jinsi ya kulisha ng'ombe, jinsi ya kulisha kuku, basic ya kitunguu. Vitunguu yetu inaiva kuiva.
Hapo kwanza tukujua mambo ya savings. Saa hizi vile mambo ya wizi sasa ilipokuja, mama alijua sasa kuweka pesa hata kama ni kidogo.
In partnership with the UN Women, FAO and the county government of West Pokot, we have been able to train, and what we have seen, they have adopted the practices to see women and communities who are actually empowered to get out of extreme poverty, to have the tools of trade, to be able to sustain the gains that they have made from this program.
Kwa mapato yangu ya kitunguu nilipata karibu 1500 kwa familia. Sasa alinisaidia sana. Niko na watoto, msichana ako Machakos KMTC, nikamlipia. Huyu kijana ako kidato cha 3, nikalipia. ikabakia sasa nilijisaidia sasa.
Kwa grupu kubwa tulichukua mradi mmoja wa kufuga vifaranga, na capital yetu tuliamua ya kwamba ile kutokana na ile saving yetu tukaenda kwa box tukachukua pesa 57,600 na tukanunua vifaranga 300, na baada ya mwezi huo mmoja tunauza kila kifaranga 300, na kwa hapo tunapata pesa 90,000. Hiyo faida tunaweka kando na tunaanza tena kununua wengine.
Women economic empowerment through climate smart agriculture. Anisikie nimesema asante sana kwa kunisupport, nimefaidika, nimekuwa hata watoto yangu wamepata afya mzuri.
Such lovely insights from the ladies there in West Pokot. And I would like to start with the First Lady actually. And Mercy, I'd like to throw this question to you. The First Lady said, huku kwetu mwanamke ni mali. Huku kwetu mila yetu hairuhusu mwanamke kufanya vitu mingi sana. You're from West Pokot. You've grown up in West Pokot County. Tell us a little bit about that, how it hinders economic empowerment for women.
Thank you, Zainab. I think by saying mwanamke ni mali, that means a woman is the possession of the husband. And technically, West Pokot is a patriarchal society. We are faced by quite a number of challenges. Women are not supposed to go to school. There's gender bias where boys are taken to school while girls remain behind, especially when resources are scarce. So by saying women mwanamke ni mali, that means they will get married off and cows will come. They will exchange you for cows. And so that has hindered economic empowerment because it is one-sided. We depend on these men who are not very resourceful to get that source of income at the household level.
Leah, picking up on the same point, how have you seen this perception hinder the women's capacity to be involved in agricultural activities?
Thank you, Zainab, for that. And I think it's really exciting to hear Mercy, who comes from the county, speak through those experiences that she's lived herself. So I think what we have seen is that women, before the program that we've implemented with them, you'd find that they, most of the time, don't have a source of livelihood. They have never had, started any business. Their families are really, they are struggling with the basic needs such as food, taking their children to school. Accessing healthcare is really, really a struggle. And because, as Mercy has said, a woman being a property to the man or the community, she doesn't have any agency to start any business, to own any land, to make any decision, including decisions such as what needs to be cooked in the household. And so this has really, really affected not only her capacity to do anything for herself, but also her self-image, her self-worth. And we have seen women start, felling trees to get charcoal, to sell
because
charcoal.
They have nothing else to do.
Because they have nothing else to do. And they end up fetching as little as 200 shillings a month to take care of their families. And obviously, you know how that affects exacerbates the effects of climate change.
Chebet, I'll come to you shortly. Let me just skip back to Dr. Okoba here. Tell us a little bit about how climate change affects women, particularly in the agriculture space.
Well, climate change affects everyone, but more specifically women, who are the main agents in terms of farming. And we have observed and seen that because every food that you receive on your plate, it must have passed through a woman, not just at the kitchen level, but at the farm level. Having considered that, this program understood that we needed to build their resilience, we needed to build their capacity, and we understood the crop failures, we understood how much times they have, how long they have to walk to go and fetch for water, and all other the family needs. So in reality, climate change affects the woman significantly. And that's why this intervention through this program was developed. Yeah.
Now, Chebet, did you grow up in West Pokot yourself?
Yes, I did.
You did.
CI
So
ward.
when those women were talking, you could see yourself there.
Yes.
How have you navigated it yourself?
I started off as a head of budget in 2014, and one of the things that we saw, our budgets are anchored in public participation. So when we go for public participation, we realize that women will sit in the farthest corner and not say a word for the whole day. That is the first year that we did public participation. So we realized that their voice is not heard anywhere. Now, when you look at the programs that we have to budget, because West Pokot is historically a marginalized county, so the priorities will come out to be roads, infrastructure projects, etc. So things like incubators and purchase of sheep and goats, those will never come out as a priority in the budget. So we realized that the easiest way is to have partners to come into place, and that's why we really appreciate this program that was funded by WEE, Women Economic Empowerment. It has assisted us to get into the wards and get the women out of their shell. These retrogressive cultural practices that we've had predominantly in most of the northern eastern counties are now falling out of place. The woman's voice is heard. The woman is contributing to economic livelihoods, not only in their households, but now they're also contributing towards the county. So you see beautiful things like they can actually, they can sell their goats, their sheep, or their produce, and we can be able to collect cess. Cess is how counties do on-source revenue collection. So women are also contributing to the county contribution. And they always say the person with the shilling has a voice. So the man needs to have the shilling, so he had the voice. But now the woman has the voice because she has a shilling also to contribute.
But given that the perception still holds that this woman belongs to the man, he doesn't take the money from her?
Not. And one of the things that this program has done very well is community sensitization. To get in and change something, you have to be in and explain it over and over and say it's beneficial to both parties. You had the man who explained he gave his own testimony. He said now he understands that a woman can help him to be able to take care of some of the responsibilities of the household because she's a contributor. So he will not necessarily take the money away from her, but they will help to now decide this one will go to the school fees, so the children are going to school, and by the children going to school, they are not remaining. Education is one of, we rank almost the lowest in education in the index. So our children now going to school and going to university. She mentioned one of her children going to Machakos. Yes, KMTC. That child, that girl or that boy is going to come back and be a productive member to that community and to that household. So the men are starting to appreciate that, yes, it's not just good for the woman to cook and clean every day.
It benefits the whole family.
Exactly, exactly.
Leah, in some communities, you would need to go through the man to get to the woman. And this is a project that targets women exclusively. Did you have to go through the men to get to the women? Like, did you need to convince them why they need to allow their wives to participate?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Zainab. And one of the exciting pieces of the poverty graduation program that we implement at Village Enterprise and adapting it to ensure that we are addressing gender issues is during the targeting process. That is the process when we are identifying the extremely poor households who are vulnerable to poverty and other issues in the community. We first, once we identify the household, we invite the men to be part and parcel of the decision making, not just the men, but the entire household. Anyone above the age of 18 to just come and decide who needs to participate in the program. So by so doing, the men feel part and parcel of the decision makers and see the program as not only benefiting the women, but also benefiting themselves. And so we do a rigorous process of ensuring, as I think Chebet has said, ensuring that at the community level, we also sensitize them on the importance of this program and the importance of having their women invest in this, because you know when you invest in a woman, you just don't invest on the household, but not only on the generations to come, but also you know, you invest on the entire community. And I think we have seen men come in and see the value of the program that we implement, and it's really exciting when you see the husbands help them with, you know, this heavy lift kind of business, you know, jobs when they are running the businesses. They help them in marketing because of, you know, the issues around when you go to the markets, particularly for the pastoralists who need to sell their livestock, their goats and sheep in the market, and we see them coming to help in negotiations at the market level, taking some, you know, getting some of their produce and helping at the farm level. So we have really seen a lot of a shift from, you know, being against the woman, but also it's because they can see what is coming to the table. Now the family, some of the men say, I'm never nagged anymore to get money for food, because food is always served, right? The children are going to school and the woman has that capacity. So that has really, you know, when you show the man the money, they're going to be excited about that. Exactly.
Yes. So we need to take a very quick break. When we come back now, we'll talk about the benefits of climate smart agriculture in West Pokot County, given that West Pokot is one of the arid and semi-arid counties in Kenya. We'll be right back after this break.
For an exclusive 3-time skin effect, try Nivea Men Deep powered by Black Carbon. For 48-hour deep moisture, a fresh skin feel, and a long-lasting masculine fragrance. Make an impact with Nivea Men Deep Impact Body Lotion. Try Nivea Men Deep Roll On for 72-hour antibacterial sweat protection.
New Downy perfume collection. Sometimes I need a scent to keep me calm amongst the chaos, or a light fragrance that keeps me fresh in the heat, or a perfume that feels elegant all day and into the night, lasting longer than expensive perfumes. New Downy, lavender calm, sunrise fresh, and sweet elegance, freshness that inspires confidence. Your dreams have come true. Try it for only 20 shillings.
From different worlds, come a trio with a shared destiny.
Nikulinde na ikuongoze.
Where will the fashion runway take them?
Mimi nitachunga maua yetu vizuri sana hadi wewe narudi.
Family business is everything.
The Beauty and the Beats. Shanga, starting 25 April at 8 p.m. on Maisha Magic Plus.
Najua nyama hiyo inaonekana laini, lakini pengine si hivyo wakati unakiungulia. Unakumbuka kilichofanyika wakati uliopita? Unajijaribu mwenyewe. Nilijaribu kukujali. Acha tuone umbali utakaofika. Unaona sasa kiungulia kinakupelekaje? Ona sasa kinakuchoma.
Usiugue katika hali yoyote. Ino inafanya kazi haraka kuondoa dalili 6 za kiungulia.
You do know you said all of that out loud, right?
Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
We can't wait to hear your story. No story is too big or too small. Build your story with an Absa One account. Earn 10% interest per annum on your savings. Download the Absa Kenya app to open an account. Your story matters.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are talking about how to empower women economically through climate smart agriculture, and we are focusing particularly on West Pokot County about a project that has been running on women economic empowerment or climate smart agriculture. This project has been running in West Pokot County. It is also in Laikipia and Kitui County, but today's focus is particularly on West Pokot County. So you're welcome to this discussion, and you can still follow us online at Zain Wandati, Z-E-Y-N Wandati at NTV Kenya, and we'll sample some of your comments. Now, Dr. Okoba, let's talk a little bit about the nitty-gritties of climate smart agriculture. West Pokot County is dry. West Pokot County is not traditionally an agricultural land. They are pastoralists. So the type of agriculture they practice is livestock keeping. But in the video we've seen, they're doing farming, they're doing mixed. Tell us a bit about how to design these interventions for a land that is not traditionally agricultural land.
Thank you, Zainabu. Of course, Kenya is an agricultural country, and both livestock and crop are the mainstay of our economy. But remember that when climate change shocks and crises occur, the livestock farmers are affected significantly, and most of them, as like in West Pokot, they will migrate. But remember, they have families, and therefore there is some potential in terms of crop cultivation in West Pokot. And so when this project, under the support of KOICA, Korean International Development Agency, and in partnership with FAO and UN Women, was conceived, is after clear understanding that there is food insecurity, nutrition insecurity, and so we came up with a project that would make sure that the interventions that we are introducing will somehow overcome the challenges these farmers have towards crop production and livestock. And so that's why we thought of introducing climate smart agriculture practices or interventions. Climate smart agriculture would normally consider that whatever you are doing must increase productivity and also income, which is a critical ingredient in people's livelihood. But most important is that we must adapt and build, resilience to climate change that is with us here. But most important, because of our global interest, is that all the practices and we are doing on the farm must also try to reduce emissions, if not eliminate them, remove them, the greenhouse gases. So the climate smart agriculture was conceived, and we worked with the communities to identify which are the value chains they would be interested in, that are conversant and they would consider women, interest, so that the gender component is integrated in every intervention we are introducing. And it's at that point that now we came up with interventions that are women-friendly. They will give women more time to do other chores of the family, but make sure that women can also make money.
What are some of these interventions? So
some of the interventions that women in West Pokot observed, and also having done the gross margin analysis, most of the women who live, for example, in the Rio area of West Pokot, alongside the River Swam, preferred vegetable production. They preferred poultry keeping. They preferred small livestock like goats and sheep, but they also preferred beekeeping, which is modern technologies that they would want to adopt. But having understood that all those things have their own challenges when there's drought, we now introduce the better production of the ingredients that will drive poultry, will drive beekeeping, and that's how we brought in technologies like production of vegetables, beekeeping. We have intensified tree planting, and the county government is actually subsidizing all tree seedlings in West Pokot as a result of the intervention of this project. We have also realized that energy can come from solar. Women would go for water very far to come and water their vegetables. So we have supported women with the water pans. We have supported the women group, and they are actually investing themselves in digging shallow wells. And now with the solar pump, they are able to water their vegetables and also for home consumption.
So the interventions include irrigated agriculture?
Yes, among many other things like gala goats, which we are focusing on because we understand the culture of the West Pokot men. As long as the animal is big and is good for the market, they will take it from the women. So we have focused on gala goat and the Dorper sheep, but women are limiting their effort towards at the level of breeding, so that they are able to distribute these animals among themselves. So they sell them when they are small and not a market where men will want to convert this into meat. But most important, poultry, we have also introduced incubators, solar-based run incubators.
So they have to work in a group?
Yes, they are working in a group, they are collecting eggs, they are able to transit 100 eggs to 100 chicks without any death. And for that reason, the communities are now economically empowered out of these interventions.
Interesting. Mercy, now to come back to you, looking again about the cultural practices and the cultural perceptions, and knowing that women all over the world provide the bulk of the labor in the agriculture industry, but do not own the land, they get the least benefits. They don't own the land, they don't have access to, maybe if they wanted a loan in order to grow their business, they have no access to the ownership of this land. How is this project helping change some of these perceptions?
Thank you, Zainab. So through this project that is funded by COICA, implemented jointly by UN Women FAO, Village Enterprise and the County Government of West Pokot, we have been able to address gender issues through capacity building, because this is a society where when we started these interventions, we would sit in groups with men and women, but women would sit at the farthest end. They're not allowed to mingle with the men. They're not allowed to speak up for themselves. But slowly we bring the men into the conversations. We train them on gender issues, and slowly they are picking up. They are standing up for themselves. Their voices are being heard. We also try to address those issues of women ownership to land, women in decision making. We have Selina, we have seen the story of Selina and Monica. Selina, when they got married, she could not decide. It's only her husband who could decide where what crop could be planted that year, those major decisions, if a cow could be sold. She told us that it's only the husband who could make that decision. But today, when you speak with Monica and Selina, they sit down at a round table. When they go to their groups and do savings and even able to access loans, they'd come and do joint decisions on what are we planting this year, are we doing crop rotation, as Barak has highlighted the climate smart techniques. And those are the kind of interventions that are the kind of impacts that we want to see with those women. In terms of loans, we are linking them through the project to market actors. We have built their capacity with banks, cooperative societies, and so on and so forth. So they're able to access loans as a group and even at an individual level. So they are empowered economically in terms of accessing loans, expanding businesses, and so on and so forth.
Do they work as one large group or in smaller groups part of the project?
They started working as a larger group, but slowly as the money increases, you'll find someone goes their way to open their own businesses, but still they meet up every week to save, and they do the larger businesses like gala goat keeping, onion farming. They're still working as a group and also individually.
How many women do you have involved?
We have worked with 697 women. That is 80% of the total 809 households that the project targeted. So direct beneficiaries are 809 farmers. Indirectly, slightly over 8,000.
Okay. Now, Leah, coming to you. Some of the things that this project has been running since 2021 and it's coming to an end, right? And some of the projects that these women are involved in include crop farming, and we just came out of a terrible drought. How did this project fare against the drought?
Thank you so much, Zainab. So when we talk about the interventions that we implement with the households that we select at the beginning, we not only want to help these households escape extreme poverty, but we want to create resilience and self-reliance at the household level and also at the community level. And we know that year in, year out, there's a lot of shocks and stresses in the system, including the drought. I think we had the worst drought in years.
Yes.
And so what we do is that after we identify these households, we help them form groups of 30, which we call the business savings groups, or in other words, the village savings and lending associations. It's within these associations that they create social capital, and they are able to leverage, they start saving in a group, and when they start saving, they save for emergencies, you know, regular savings and savings with a purpose, which is really saving to increase assets, both productive assets and unproductive assets. And I think even building on to the point that Mercy was talking about around having a pool of money that they put together, and they're able to access that just before they are ready to access loans from the financial institutions in the system. They have a place they can go and borrow and return while they keep saving. But also we provide them with, we help them form groups of 3s, and that is one business group. But then we realized that for this particular program, we needed them to conduct their business at the VSLA level, that is the Village Savings and Lending Association level. And so when they do this, they are able to diversify their businesses. So when there's drought and you know, I think we saw a lot of livestock died and you could not be able to start livestock and agricultural businesses. So they were able to go and start other businesses, especially the retail businesses. We could see that would cover them, would give them would become a tool for covering them or for them to cope with the shocks within the system, so that they could continue generating the incomes.
So but for them, the drought impact on them was not as bad.
It was there, but they had the tools to bounce back from that drought. And as I think as Barak talked about the resilient breeds of sheep and goats that were able to withstand the drought, or the drought tolerant seeds that they were able to build to plant, those were able to get a yield out of that.
I see Dr. Koba wants to jump in there.
Yes. I think in addition to what Leah has just mentioned, especially when drought strikes, and of course Kenya, as you have known, we walk in and walk out of drought. Right now we are on another extreme, but most distressing for a family is when the drought hits. You need food and the livestock is there. And as the women are supporting their husbands to be more in agro-pastoralists, because that is the transition, we want to move from pastoral to agro-pastoral, then eventually sedentary agriculture as land becomes smaller. What most of these women have adopted is preservation of vegetables, through solar dry. They are also planting hay or grass fodder, and they are able to preserve it for drier seasons. So these are resilience development that we have realized that the farmers are now able to do, and they are able to access food throughout the season or the year because of some of the interventions. In
all the years that the program has been running, you haven't had any of your members say, I've been seriously affected by this drought, please help me?
It is changing. Of course, initially adoption process was slower, but I can assure you that second and third and to date, fourth year, those women are well covered in terms of income, because their poultry are kept within zero grazing units within their farms. And income, if you look at the income at household level, both from different interventions or value chains they are working on, it has doubled. From $4 per day, based on the recent study we did, to something close to $8 to $9 per day. Yeah.
Now we need to take another very quick commercial break. Now when you come back, we'll talk about the policy, what all this means for the policies and what lessons other counties can take from this project. Do not go away.
Ataenda kucheza nje na hii baridi yote. Why did you let him go? Si atagonjeka.
Sasa asipofanya tizi, how will he win more trophies? To protect our family from germs that cause illness when it's cold, we use Dettol soap.
Dettol soap with germ defense gives you protection. When it's cold, germs are transferred in different ways. And Dettol soap's germ defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
Warembo, ni nini muhimu kwenu mnaponunua body lotion? Smoothness, scent, glow. Nunua Nice and Lovely body lotion. Inai-transform dry skin kuwa deeply nourished na kui-smoothed. Na fragrance nayo, wacha tu.
Now available in the 850 ml pack.
Chagua Kenya's #1 body lotion.
Introducing a new range of Royco spices. An explosion of rich, authentic taste. Spicika na Royco. Making those good meals great.
I trust Sunlight 2-in-1 washing powder to give my clothes a sensational clean and an uplifting fragrance.
Okay, bye-bye.
Sunlight. More than you expect.
Welcome back. This is the final few minutes to the end of this discussion, talking about climate change, agriculture, and women, and how the three are related, or how the three work together, particularly in West Pokot County, and how this has helped transform the economic position and the economic capacities of these women in West Pokot County. Now, Shibesa, I'd like to come to you. Looking at how this project has been running over the years, and you talked about how in the beginning you do public participation as a county, and the women would isolate themselves and would not say a word all through. Following the success, I think you'd call it a success for this project. Following the success of this project, are there any lessons that the county would be taking in terms of policy development for the county, so that you have more women embedded in the policies in the county?
Okay. Thank you very much, Zainab. I would like to, before I answer that question, just add on to something on the previous question about sustainability and availability of financing or loans. The county government, through the leadership of our governor, Simon Kachapin, has Biashara Mashinani Fund, which is a corporate development fund. So we are now allowing these groups, these corporate groups within the county, to be able to access additional funding, which is not, it's less collateralized as the bank funding. So I think, and it's 3%, so it's really minimal in terms of interest. So I think that will be able to help sustain the program even after this program closes. The county government can pick up on that. But speaking on the policy directions, we are really grateful that this program has been able to give us funding for 3 policies, which is a climate change policy, the gender mainstreaming policy, and the gender guidelines. So we need to anchor our budget processes through some other additional policies. Like I said, the budgets are, the needs are very high, and the availability of resources is very limited. For example, our county, we do some social protection programs, like bursary program, to ensure all children transition from primary to secondary education. So we find that things around gender and issues of women is not prioritized as much as it should be. However, with a policy in place, which is why we have the gender policy thanks to this program, now as we prepare our budgets, we know that the budget has to give a certain percentage, ring fence a certain percentage of money towards women programs. Additionally, we're able to, with the other programs that we do, for example, in agriculture, we do perennial seeds. And initially it used to be just first come, first served, whoever wants to be given, or whichever farmer wants to get that seed will get. But now we do targeting. So we're able to see who, through the poverty graduation index that this program has put into place, we're able to see in that ward who is the most vulnerable of the vulnerable. So those ones are prioritized first. So within a county program, the people who are most marginalized are the ones who get the first priority in the funding and also the distribution of seeds, for example, which is a program that we run. So being able to have a policy that guides also helps us with the decision makers, who are not only the politicians and also the county assembly. As you know, with the county budgets, final approval is the county assembly. So when they see there's a gender policy, we present the gender policy with a budget proposal and say, in this gender policy, this budget is supposed to be responsive to gender in this matter. And then we identify the programs that we have put aside for the women. So it has helped us to be able to now get more programs that are sensitive towards people living with disabilities, women and youth. The youth and the children are another voice that is also not heard, but by benefiting the women, you take care of the youth and the child's voice. So our budgets have become very gender sensitive and climate sensitive throughout the years, which is something that I can give credit to this program.
So given again the perceptions of wanawake hawana sauti, wanawake ni mali, do you see a situation whereby you might also need to sensitize the county assembly itself so that you don't design the policy and then it gets shot down in the house?
Yes. Luckily for us, through this Village Enterprise program, they have done sensitization for both the county assembly, at least the committee members that are involved, and the county executive. And then we are very blessed to have a governor who shows a lot of leadership and appreciation for such programs. So he's able to lend a voice, and once his voice is put into play, then automatically the assembly comes and sees the benefit that we have. And then we have a very good working relationship with the assembly, so that some things, some programs that come from the ground especially, those are programs that are prioritized all the way through the end. So as a county, we have been very, very lucky to have a leadership that is actually cooperating. Some counties might not be very lucky, that's why we need to anchor this in policies. Policies will be able to guide the direction of counties. Thank you.
Leah, what would you say you have learned as the country director in the time that this project has been running?
So I think the first thing that I have learned is investing in women, as I said earlier, really transforms communities. And I think we have listened to the stories, we have watched the videos where without addressing, we can do all these economic empowerment programs, but without addressing gender dynamics, gender issues, without addressing climate issues, all these gains that we make and the strides we make can all be watered down with the effects of climate change. And when we talk about gender issues, it's not just at the household level, but we have to think about it at the community level, at the government level, and also globally when we think about gender issues, because a woman can be empowered, she can get the money, she can start a business and get the money, but when she gets to her house, the money is taken away, or she's not able to make decisions on how to spend this money. And that really waters down everything. The other thing is the importance of involving, when we talk about women empowerment, it doesn't stand alone. We have to involve the men. And involving the men is not just as a flower on the side just to say we are involving the men, but really making sure that they come in at the beginning and they are working with their women throughout the process. One of the things that really excites me is when I hear them say, and this is across all the programs we implement, and I've also had other partners say that the love at the home has increased. And that can be a proxy to gender-based violence has gone down. The women's agency has increased, and that moves to the well-being of the household and the community. The children are well fed, they are going to school, you know, they are accessing proper health care and so on. And that really leads to investing in generations to come. So it's really exciting to see that it is important to mainstream gender issues within the program, but also at the national and county government level.
Masi, you know, there's usually this perception that watu wa mashinani hawajui climate change ni nini, yet they live with it. So when you talk to the women about climate change and why they need to embrace climate smart agriculture and why they need to participate in this project, how do you explain it to them?
Through the project, we have our trainers who are from the respective areas of implementation, and they do understand the local dialect very well. So when you train them, we offer the trainings in the local dialect, in Pokot language, and where we have a trainer or a facilitator who doesn't understand or speak in Pokot dialect, we get a translator, and they are able to explain that to them quite well, and they understand and they appreciate. Yeah.
Yourself growing up in the county, how have you seen the impacts of climate change?
For West Pokot County, different areas are affected differently by climate change. You have the hilly areas where there is loose soil that leads to mudslides and landslides. Luckily enough, I do not come from those areas, but it has really affected, especially the 2019 Nyarkulian mudslide. It really affected women, and one of the women affected are those who reside in Batei area, where it is one of our implementation areas. And through the county government, and we appreciate the leadership, the current leadership, they were able to be sensitized and they moved away from those areas. And again, through the project, their capacity has been built on what the lessons learned and what to do and what not to do when it comes to effects of climate change.
Barak, this program also runs in 2 other counties. How would you compare West Pokot and the other counties that are implementing?
Well, in terms of comparison, first let me say when we started, West Pokot was poorly performing in many aspects, especially when we are targeting women, and the rule was, or the criteria was, that over 80%, 80 or above 80% of the people we are supporting must be women. And because of that, it was very difficult to take off in West Pokot until we started all the sensitization. But to date, if you look at the jump in terms of where they were to where they are right now, I think West Pokot has achieved a lot. In the first front is that women have a voice. One of the convictions that UN Women Organization of the UN agency of UN rather, the UN Women, convinced me is that if we work together with FAO, who are more on production and productivity issues, and we bring in, engender every effort you are going to make, we will ensure that women have a voice. And Zainab, I can tell you to date, the issues on conflicts, on resources, we have reduced it from 46 to 22% in West Pokot. And I'm specifically talking of Rio, Ward, Batei, and Swam. And for me, that is a big jump.
These are resources like water.
Yes, and also income, disputes around money, you know, as you have already been told. We have also observed that 100% of men are supporting women's effort in agriculture. And we are also seeing that in terms of savings, these women, especially in West Pokot, the groups, the average savings they have achieved, they have moved from an average of 200,000 per year to 1.3 million per year right now. So in terms of the change, West Pokot has performed very well. But of course, other counties like Kitui, which is also severely affected by drought, there's quite a lot of effort. Even when there was drought, Zainab, I can assure you, you went with, I think the rain only, we experienced rain for a week, but those women were able to harvest something, vegetables, sorghum, because they were intensively using reaping, zai-pits, and all other conservation practices that ensured
that... What are zai-pits?
Okay, zai-pit is let me say, it's just maybe 2 by 2, a hole of 2 by 2, which you dig, and you also go down almost 2 feet, and you put in manure. So all the water that falls into that pit
is stored there.
Is caught, and the nutrients that you will have put there cannot be moved away from that spot.
So the plant is in that hole?
The plant is in that, and we plant 5 heals or seeds in that zai pit.
I've seen those in Makueni. I just didn't know that's what they are called.
Yes.
I've seen farmers are doing that.
And you
some
do
farmers.
it once and you stay for almost 2 years without digging it. So women have been, as you know, Kitui women are very hardy, and they have been able to excavate this, and they are having their crop assured of harvest.
So you, from an expert point of view, this project has been a success?
Indeed, it has been a success.
Are you looking to replicate to other counties?
Yes. In fact, our generous partner, Koika, is considering to deepen within the counties that we are in, but also extend to the neighboring countries. Of course, we are only focusing in ASAL counties, where climate change impacts are more severe than most other places.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mercy, what would you like us to remember when we leave here today?
Yeah, one thing I'd love to, my parting shot is on collective efforts and political goodwill. Political goodwill in such a way that if the leadership of the day is not supportive, then a project cannot be successful. We have had a very supportive leadership of the day and the leadership of Governor Simon Kachapin, and his open door policy, he welcomes all partners. We've had a smooth implementation for the last few years without any hurdles. Chebet mentioned about the county gender policy that is finalized, and we are meant to present it to the cabinet in a few days' time, and that is a success and a plus for us. Collective collaboration in such a way that for this project we have implemented it with a number of partners, with the financial support of Koika, UN Women, Village Enterprise, and the county government of West Pokot through the Department of Gender and mainly agriculture. And I'm thinking this is about gender, a bit of policy work, and also a bit of climate smart agriculture. One partner is an expert in climate smart agriculture, that is FAO. We have UN Women who are gender experts. We have the county government Department of Agriculture. We bring all our expertise together and the project becomes a success. So collective action, collective collaboration, and finally, leadership.
Okay. Leah, what would you like us to remember?
Right. I think for me, over and above what I've already said in terms of investing in women, is there is still a huge need in these counties that are the ASAL counties. And we know that we are very grateful to Koika for the investment that they have put in, the seed that they have planted, because it has really shown us, given us the experience and the expertise to implement such programs there. I think for me, what I would say is, when you go to West Pokot, you find there is little investment, yet the need is really, really high. And I know that we are committed as a partnership with UN Women and FAO to make sure that we continue deepening the interventions, but also it is a call to action by other funders to deepen, to expand the work that we are doing and also deepen it, because there is really a huge need there. And I think it's really exciting to see the commitment from the partners sitting on this table, and I think a lot has been alluded to the government that has been very supportive, just ensuring that we are deepening and expanding our interventions through the implementation and the learnings that we have done, taking them forward, not just starting from scratch. For anyone who wants to invest in West Pokot, we have a rich evidence base on what works, and we are happy to partner with others to expand the work that we started.
Okay, Chebet?
Mine is first to thank Women Village Enterprise and the program for believing in West Pokot County. And I would say without a shadow of doubt that West Pokot is a true devolution success story. I've seen the transformation from 2014 to date, and everywhere you go in the county, something different has happened. And it's not just unilaterally through the efforts of the county government, because like I said, being a marginalized county, we didn't have roads, we didn't have dispensaries, we didn't have water, we didn't have just basic education, not only the ECD, which is a county government function, or primary. We have children who are studying under trees, starting 2014. But right now, if you go to the county, you see something working in every sector. And we cannot do it as a county government because of the limited resources. That's why we thank all the partners that have agreed to work with us. And I echo what Leah has said. There's so much room for more assistance. I will not say assistance because there's a dependency syndrome that comes with assistance, yes. But partnership. Partnership is what I would call it. So if more partners can come, there are different sectors. We have a CIDP, which is open to everybody to implement. So it's not only county government or national government to implement the county integrated development plan, but we have other partners that can come in, look at the work plan. And our governor has put together a docket, a specific docket that deals with resource mobilization and partnership relationships. So when you land in the county as a partner, you have a courtesy call, he will give you time, and then from there you'll be given to the technical department. He allows the technical people to work with the partner, so we see which are the areas of intervention. Most importantly, we used to go for peer-to-peer learning in Kiambu, Murang'a, those counties that are doing very well in agriculture. But now we don't have to go across the country. We just go from let's say Sigor Ward all the way to Riwo. Yeah. So we don't have the success stories within us. Yeah. So it has really helped us because the budget now we don't have to budget
internally.
Exactly, and we don't have to spend so much money for farmers mobilization, and we bus them to different counties. No, we just say the women from Chepareria Ward, go across to Riwo, sit with your peers, learn, pick this or this project or that project. And one of the things that we've done recently is we banned charcoal. But by banning charcoal, you have to give an alternate, alternate to the people who are actually burning charcoal. But the county government is implementing aggressively climate smart, climate sensitive things like tree planting. So you tell the women to plant tree seedlings, and then the county government will buy the tree seedlings from them, so they'll be able to get a source of income, and then the youth will go and plant those trees in the forest, get some casual money as laborers, plant and then protect the forest. So there's an ownership in the cycle that is being created. But I would say West Pokot is truly a success story. Thank you, and welcome everybody. I know we get negative press, but I'm here to say it's a peaceful county. It's just a small area that we have an issue, but that is being dealt with the national government. But the county government has really been progressive, and I thank wholesomely to the leadership of our governor, who has made sure that transformation is in his manifesto, and he believes in transformation, and we are seeing transformation. So Karibu Zainab, West Pokot, please come and do a show live from there. And thank you everybody. Welcome.
Thank you, and that's an excellent point to end this conversation. I'd like to thank my panelists who've come to share some insights from West Pokot County, Dr. Barak Okoba from FAO, Masitunku from WCSA, Leah Okero, also the country director, Village Enterprise, and of course the county government of West Pokot, represented by Priscilla Chebet, the chief finance officer. Thank you very much for making time to have this discussion with us. The news headlines will be right up shortly. Do not go away. My name is Zena Bondati. I've been your host tonight. Have a good evening.